What's up, Renegade Nation? Before we begin the video, I'd like to give a big shout out to our most recent Patreon supporters: Salosi, Jake Nader78, Matt Glanton, Crazy Jack Donan, Jacob Leppin, Mr. Vladik, Tobias Gladden, The Gimpster 101, Griffin Burt, Macon Gallen, and Ryan Dillo. Thank you all so much for your support. And if you want to support us on Patreon, feel free to click the link down below and check it out. Thanks again. Hi everyone, welcome to, oh wait, hold on, sorry. Have to wear these because my phone's on the fritz and the speaker up top doesn't work, and also the receiver at the bottom doesn't work. So yeah, it's pretty much like an iPod now. That's pretty much all it is. That can send text messages and view the internet and all that. So pretty much like an iPod Touch, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Sometimes when technology doesn't work, you know, we sort of like are very angry that it doesn't work. And then there's times where I'm glad I live in this world that has iPhones and everything, and I'm glad I don't live in Zombieland. Although, to be honest, living in Zombieland would be kind of cool because, you know, free reign with guns and all sorts of crazy shit. And, yeah, you pretty much get to do as you please, and, you know, I think I heard Micah talk about this film. He was absolutely in love with the idea of a zombie apocalypse after this because he's just like, federal government gone down, no restrictions on me using my guns, no restrictions on me blacksmithing wherever the hell I want to. I'm in.
Yeah, but, like, all the good game devs and movie makers and everybody would also probably be mostly dead. So
this is true because
you probably wouldn't in your lifetime be able to rebuild a society where like there are new games coming out to play and stuff, but at least there's a pretty much like, you know, unplayable amount of time worth of stuff already out that you could easily go raid from Walmart. So.
Yeah, exactly. You could get any system you wanted and play as much as you wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, even if the internet isn't a thing anymore, you can still do, like, system links and shit like that. Have fun and have a blast.
Plus, you could go over to, like, Bill Murray's house and hook it up to his theater screen. So.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome to do. Dude, yeah, the first Zombieland film, which was, when I think about it, was 10 years ago. Well, almost. It was 2010. It's like 9 years ago, but they've been talking about doing a sequel to this film for a long time, and I loved the original Zombieland. I went and watched it in theaters. I believe, it was 2 times. First time I went with my dad and my stepmom and my 2 little sisters. They had a blast, and then I went and watched it with Zach the second time, which at that time Zach was still underage, which is a weird thought to think about nowadays.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna start a fight for this, but in my opinion, Zombieland is the best zombie comedy movie that I've seen. So
it's
usually
up there.
People start to argue with me because they're like, "No, it's Shaun of the Dead, bro," and I'm like, "I think Zombieland's better than Shaun of the Dead."
Well, I like Shaun of the Dead too. I mean, I don't discount either of them. I think they're
It's
both
still a good
different
movie,
styles. I think they're both different styles of comedy.
Zombieland's funnier, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, Zombieland is the more in-your-face comedy, more social commentary in a lot of ways in terms of America, and then Shaun of the Dead is social commentary on the UK with British style humor, which you look at the comedic styles between America and the UK. There's similarities, but overall, British humor is very dry. It's very high and dry humor that I'm not going to say requires more thought, but it definitely requires a sensibility that the British are accustomed to. Whereas here in the States, ours is seen as a more universal kind of comedy where almost anyone and everyone can get into it, and people enjoy different things. And me, I enjoy both of those. I enjoy both this and the original Zombieland and Shaun of the Dead.
You know what that just made me think of, though?
What?
It would be hilarious just every time you want to argue online with someone who's like all about banning guns nationwide and stuff, for your entire point to bring up, just be like, what if zombies happen? And if people are like, but zombies won't happen, be like, actually, there's some pretty good articles on a couple ways that zombies could possibly happen eventually.
Yes, indeed. And Honestly, we could have a sit here all day and have a whole conversation about gun control and the lack of it or the enforcement of it.
But you know what sounds like a better time?
What's that?
Watching the Zombieland double tap trailer.
Yes, indeed. Let's get it on screen and let's see what happens. Here we go.
Time to nut up or shut up.
What's up, Tallahassee? Three Academy Award nominees and a winner. Yes. He's having fun.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Hey, Possum Ace.
Sorry, just you in that chair.
I think I would have made a damn fine president.
You would have brought a real dignity to the office.
You're welcome, America.
Zombieland. Life is about more than just survival. We were a family. Dysfunctional, sure, but what family isn't?
Merry Christmas. What would you like, little girl?
I'd really like for you to stop calling me little girl.
Do you know what I would like?
I don't give a shit what you
Oh, man.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Hi, I'm Columbus.
Madison.
This is Tallahassee.
Hey, Poplar. Is this your dad?
No.
Oh! See, I forgot the seatbelt rule.
Oh, so she knows the rules?
I told her just a few of them.
73. I'd rather more. You're cute. I like it.
My sister is gone.
Oh no.
Boy, he's from Berkeley. You don't have weed, do you?
Do I look like the type of person that would have weed?
I'm sorry.
Actually, a little.
Yeah.
Boy, howdy does he.
I want to beat the shit out of him. We're gonna go get her. We ride it, don't
Yes, the mare's leg. Hell yeah.
Talking.
Rosario Dawson. Shit yeah.
Tallahassee.
Oh. Yes.
Badass.
So much. Yes. Yes. Oh.
That's my ride. Oh, my apologies, little Elvis.
Okay, is it me or does he kind of remind you of?
I don't like you at all.
I think you double parked. Or more perpendicular parked.
What?
We don't get a ticket.
What is going on here?
What?
Hello, everyone.
Am I hallucinating?
That's awesome.
Okay, I think that's actually a little bit of a shout out to the failed Zombieland Amazon series that they tried. A lot of people forget about that. I'm glad people forget about that because I watched the pilot of it and it was terrible. Very, very terrible. The
Yeah,
comedy.
I didn't even know they did that.
Yeah. Be glad you didn't see it because it was awful. Because I wanted more Zombieland, and when I heard like they were putting the sequel on a back burner and we're going to try something different and we're going to do something like a series, and I was like, okay, that'll be interesting. And then Woody Harrelson said no, Jesse Eisenberg said no, Emma Stone said no, Abigail Breslin said no, everyone said no. And I'm like, okay, that's not going to work. And they hired a whole bunch of new people. Pretty much a guy doing a Jesse Eisenberg impersonation. A guy who wasn't trying to do a Woody Harrelson impression, but I'm going to be honest, I was okay with his performance. He wasn't trying to be Woody Harrelson, and I'm glad, but the guy who was Jesse Eisenberg was trying way too hard to be Jesse Eisenberg. Or, I'm sorry, Columbus. He was trying way too hard to copy Jesse Eisenberg's performance as Columbus. But I'm glad that we're getting a sequel, a good, like a official looking sequel with the original people coming back. That includes the original director Ruben Fleischer and the two writers of the original film, Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who also were the writers for the two Deadpool movies. So you got my vote.
Look at the work they put into that logo, by the way.
I know. You barely even. I saw it and I'm like, oh, it's a 2. And then I noticed all the other stuff like going on around it. Because in the original one, it was like the globe that had all this crazy shit going, and now it's a 2. It's like, damn, that's good detail right there.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's a badass logo.
Yes, it is. And I'm glad we're getting a sequel. I am.
I like the whole concept behind this because the comedy almost kind of writes itself because it's just the concept of, all right, after there's been in a zombie apocalypse for X amount of time and you've gotten pretty damn good at surviving in it, you start to have to find ways to have fun with it.
You do.
And that's exactly what they go do, and the comedy just kind of works itself out from just the shenanigans you would get into in that case.
And you see, the original film also had certain dramatic moments as well. Like, they weren't shoehorned in, they were earned. Like, spoilers if you haven't seen the original Zombieland, but Woody Harrelson's character, Tallahassee, when we originally meet him, he tells a story about how, you know, he had someone special to him, and it was a dog named Buck that he loved to death. He loved Buck, and you saw like a little flashback. It was him playing with Buck, like picking him up, like doing the silly faces and stuff like that, and petting him and loving on him. And then later in the film, after he's had some drinks and he's gotten comfortable around these people that he didn't know in the beginning, but now he actually trusts a bit, he actually opens up and you find out it wasn't a dog, it was actually his son. And his son was very, very young, and that's why he hid behind this whole thing about being depressed and not only being depressed, but just taking out all of his frustrations on the zombies because they took away the one thing in his life that gave him meaning.
Yeah.
And it was a very well-earned dramatic moment, and then it's instantly derailed by Tallahassee. The guy who got us into that moment got us out of it with probably one of the best lines with the perfect delivery by Woody Harrelson. He gets a big fat wad of cash off the ground from Bill Murray's house, wipes his eyes out, and he says, "I ain't cried like that since Titanic."
Yeah.
Instantly derails the whole scene of any dramatic thing, and we're right back into the Zombieland trope. And I loved it. I love when they do shit like that, because Avengers did that really well. I think the balancing of comedy and drama to where neither one is overwhelming, but they don't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
Like, Avengers doesn't take themselves too seriously. The people who take it serious are the people who get invested in the film. As long as the filmmakers don't take things too serious. I mean, yeah, I cannot wait for this. I can't. It's October 18th, and this took me completely by surprise. I didn't even know. I heard rumors that this was a thing, but I did not know officially it was until now. And damn, it looks good. I mean, this has the feel of the original film. And it looks like the characters are growing a little bit, you know. Tallahassee's sort of becoming like a dad to Abigail Breslin's character. The very moment she runs off with a hippie boy, all of a sudden he's like, "I'm gonna kill him."
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's a dad thing. That'd be something that my dad would say if one of my little sisters ran off with a hippie boy. My dad would call me up. He'd be like, "We're going hunting, son." I'm like, what are we hunting? He's like, "Hippie."
Yeah.
My dad's not an overly violent person. I'm not going to say he is not a violent person. I mean, the dude shot a buzzard off the top of his cabin because they came down and tried to snatch one of our cats.
The buzzards only ate dead stuff.
No. So if they're hungry enough, they go after things that are living, things that are small enough. And we have a cat. His name's Otis. Very small, like a very small furry cat. And buzzard came down, was pecking at him, and then flapped its wings and was like trying to get his talons in him. And then all of a sudden, my dad comes out with a shotgun. The buzzard tries to fly off, sits on top of the cabin thinking it's safe. My dad walks up, blows that thing out the air, and feathers go. As he said, feathers went flying, and I heard a loud thud on the other side of the cabin, and I'm just like, job done. And I actually look, and you actually see the buckshot in the top of the cabin, in the tin where it went through, and I'm like, damn, Dad.
Yeah.
My dad's a bit of a badass. He lives out in the wilderness, so he is under threat of a lot of, he's killed, in his garden, he's killed, I think, about a dozen snakes. He's ran off about 4 or 5 skunks.
That sucks on the snakes, though, because I like snakes.
Well, they're being invasive, and he's been bitten twice by them. They were garter snakes, but, you know, he... but then, of course, there's also, you know, raccoons, which have come by and stolen our cat's food more times than I can count. The deer, he just runs off. He doesn't... he isn't killing any of them because he's letting it get to where it's hunting season, and then he'll get a few, and then he'll stock up on food for the winter and everything. That's just how he lives. That's my dad for you. But anyway, I'm very happy that this is a thing. I want to see it. I want to see how all the inventive ways. I want to see the new rules that he's added to the book, because I think when we last left off, I think he had around 30 rules in the Zombieland handbook that he'd written down. And now she said there were 73, and I'm like, ooh, what else has he added? God. So, anyway, that's going to do it for this, ladies and gentlemen. This was Zombieland Double Tap official trailer. If y'all are excited for this film, let us know in the comments down below. And I guess until next time, signing off, I'm Nate.
I'm Nick.
And we will see you all in the next one. Peace out.